everyone, it's Michelle from Michelle's Home and Garden in Illinois Garden Zone 5. So we're in October now, and guess what? They are saying tonight we may get our first frost. So given that, I've decided we'll shoot a video today so I can capture how everything looks before it frosts potentially tonight. One of the things I thought we would do today is we would do a look back video. And you go, what's a look back video? Well, in this case, this garden is pretty young back here, the back garden. The arborvitaes have been here the longest. And before that, all of this was just backyard grass, other than a few things that were planted up by the deck that were foundation plants. So a lot has happened in a very short time in the back garden. Most of this, a lot of it was planted this season, but I started it around 2021 time frame, so just over the last couple years. So I thought it would be fun to go through. We'll do a walkthrough of the back garden, but I'm also going to put pictures up of what it looked like before, so you can see for yourself how quickly this has had progress over a very short time, how big the plants have grown over a very short time. And hopefully it'll inspire you that it's never too late to plant a flower or a shrub or a tree. Yes, they take time to grow, but a lot of them grow really fast. You see what it looked like before to what it looks like now and the difference. It's just very encouraging. One of the things, the garden shed that's behind us, that was new. That was done last spring. I had the garden shed brought in. So previously that was all just fence and grass. So these beds are just looking fabulous. I'm loving the back garden, and actually it will be very sad to see it frost and end up losing the flowers for the season. Although I know they need to rest, I will miss them. So I'm hoping they hang on for a bit longer, but I do realize we are in October, and that's just how it is in the Midwest. You get to enjoy them for a while, but then they rest for a while too. So let's get going today and let's look at the back garden. And if you're enjoying this, please like, share, and subscribe. Okay, so we're going to start here on this side. As you come in, here's the gate to come into the back garden, and we have the beautiful arbor. Now that is new this year, and that is a Kingsman Garden arch. If you're wondering where I got that from, I got that online at Kingsman Garden, not sponsored, but I do like it for the roses, and those are the Generous Gardener roses. They'll get to about 15 foot each, and there's two of them, one on each side. That's their first season. So there was nothing here a few months ago. So that's how much it's, already filled in. So if you recall, at the beginning of the season, there was no edging. All the edging is new. We did all of that this summer and had the edging. This was all grass previously. And once we had the garden shed installed last spring, we ended up moving the fence to parallel along the garden shed, and then I had these open. Now this bed wasn't here, this was grass, and what I ended up doing was just putting some mulch down along the back from the corner of the garden shed out. I put some mulch and didn't do anything else with it last year. I put a few planters there and worked on other areas of the yard. So then come this season, when this season started, I planted up the hydrangeas in the back and put in a few things, and it just looked off. It needed more, and I wanted to bring this out, but I also knew that I needed some edging because I knew that I would be fighting with grass growing into the beds. So I worked with my contractor who came in, and we laid out the bed design, and I'll link those videos down in the description area. But we laid out the beds and even ended up pulling them out farther. We expanded the bed this season for these flowers here and pulled everything out farther. So back here, everything went clear up to the back of the house and came out just a little bit, like foundation planting. And I just didn't like how it was very squared off here. It made it very awkward to mow there also because it went clear up to here and then squared off and went around the deck in a square. And when I design stuff, it's always very curvy. I like curves. I like it more sweeping. And so when we designed the edging, I definitely knew that I wanted this bed pulled out farther. I wanted more room in here so I could add other things. So I'll throw a picture up of what it looked like before. And what I did was I made sure in a formal garden that each side pretty much mirrored the other side. So we have salvia, we have veronica, we have bobo hydrangeas, and the knockout roses on this side. And then I have the same thing mimicked on the other side. The only difference is the color of the roses. I have a pink rose on this side and a red rose on the other side. Okay, so behind us, what I did was the arborvitae by where the lady statue was is the original set of arborvitaes that we planted, and we stopped it there, and there was a reason for that. At the time of planting those arborvitaes, we had a huge maple tree in our backyard that was kind of where our fountain is now in that area. So if you can imagine a great big maple tree, and we stopped the arbs right there because we knew that planting any farther down, we wouldn't, they wouldn't survive because of all the shade of the maple tree. Well, as gardens do, it progressed, and that maple tree ended up having to come out. The trunk of it split, and we were concerned that it would fall, and we didn't want it to fall, of course, on our neighbor's house or on our house. So we had that maple tree taken out. Once that tree was taken out, it opened up all the area behind me. So we planted more arborvitaes to finish out that row, and that's why you're seeing two different heights there, because they were planted at two different times. And then behind me where the roses are, those three big roses, that I did all last season. So previously it was just the arborvitaes. So then this was still all grass on this side. And then I decided to add it on. So I was adding on pieces each season. So I added this on up to the lilac as far as I got the first season. I planted the magnolia tree and planted the roses, and actually just a couple knockout roses was all I started with. I've added more stuff on as each season progresses. And then I decided I didn't like that it ended at the lilac and I needed to continue on. So then I added more things in, I think 22 is when I finished this and took it all the way to the end. So again, I'll throw up more pictures for you so you can see the befores of how this has progressed. But now it's very full and it hasn't taken much. Okay, so in this area back here, where the arborvitaes end, in that little corner of the fence, I had planted a little bit of stuff that's back there last year. Mainly the Eden rose that's on the black datura. Everything else, and then the mulch ended back there. It was just in that corner, and again it was a very the grass went clear up to the garden house, and then it went straight across to the end of the fence and met where the arbs were and made a real tight angle. So again, it made it very difficult to mow because there was such a tight angle there. So then this year with the edging, I had the contractor pull it out to give me more room to plant. So all of the plants here were planted this season, and everything in front of the arbs, other than the knockout roses, were planted this season, down to the David Austin roses down by the white bench, which were planted last season. So as you can see, there's lots of new plants this year. and they are doing really well. We've got some hydrangeas, some phlox, some roses, a lot of veronica and salvia because they are very rabbit resistant, and I have rabbits in the backyard. So just a lot has grown in and filled in a very, very short time. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed the before and after, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day, everyone.